Okay, so we've got our scene, we've got a sky and a plane. It's kind of simple. Let's actually use textures. And remember, textures are just the images, right? So that we can put a 360 image for the sky. We can add some repeating image for the ground. So the way we do that in A-Frame is we have to actually preload those kinds of things. So we need to make an A.asset. So I'm going to type some things, even though you're at liberty to cut and paste. So I have this assets call where I say, hey, I want to preload these things. And so if we look in what we have here, the next line is this. So I'll cut and paste this for simplicity, and I'll put it there. And this is an HTML tag for an image. Images don't get embedded in web pages. They get called to their source. So you'll see this is the source. And so this image is actually here. If I real quick cut and paste this into my browser, you'll see that, right, this is the image that we'll be getting. So they also have these IDs that you need to put on these and these assets so that you can use them later. And an ID is an HTML attribute that you make up what goes inside here. You can call this whatever you want, foo, sparky, doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is you don't have a space in it. It can't start with a number, and that it's the only one on the page. You can't use ID ground texture another place, or that would be a no-no. And so I'll load that one, and the next thing I'll do is load the sky image. So if we look at our text edit, we have this right here, sky. Okay, and so it's got the same ID and it's got a source, but this source is no longer going to somewhere online. This is looked for us in our file system. Now this would work if we were doing this in class and using text edit. It's not going to work the same way in Glitch, so we're going to have to replace that. So the way we do that is go to our assets, and you see it says drag files, and go to your download, the thing you downloaded for this exercise, and you see I already provided a sky image. So I'm going to drag that there, and I'm going to wait a second while that uploads. Okay, so now the thing is, in a normal context, if this was like a normal website, I would probably put something like, right, assets/sky.jpg, and that would go to my assets folder here. We're not working on a normal server, so that's not going to work. So what we actually need to do to get the link to the image is click on it and copy this right here, this special absolute link to where they keep their images. So I'm going to go ahead and close that down, go back to images, and I'm going to put it right here and replace that. So this source now looks like this. So when we go to our page here and we refresh it, we'll see that actually nothing happened here, right? So we have to actually get those textures on these things. So let's go back here. So these IDs are how we are going to put these textures here. So let's look at our cut and paste and see what we have. Really the key here is now adding this source tag with a hashtag and the name of our ID, because in HTML coding a hashtag usually means an ID. So you could actually just cut our thing right here and go replace these two right there. I could have just as easily typed these sources in myself. But now when we go to A-Frame, we have this. Our floor has a texture. We have our things here. Now I'd also like to point out at this stage of the game that besides just spinning around, A-Frame gives us the ability to move around using either the arrow keys or the WASD keys. That's part of that thing here. I just wanted to make sure I pointed out so you know that you could actually start walking around in your scene.